For centuries, the story of Nigeria and Britain was intertwined with the horrors of the slave trade. British ships seeking human cargo arrived on the shores of West Africa. They brought goods from Europe, trading them for men, women, and children who were then shipped across the Atlantic in chains. The profits from this trade fueled industrial growth in Britain, while leaving a legacy of pain and disruption in Africa. Families were torn apart, communities shattered, and the very fabric of society strained under the weight of this inhumane commerce. Though the slave trade was officially abolished in the British Empire in 1833, its impact continued to cast a long shadow over the relationship between the two nations. Even as the slave trade waned, other forms of commerce arose. British merchants saw opportunities in palm oil, timber, and other resources that Nigeria possessed in abundance. Trading posts were established along the coast, serving as points of contact and gradually extending British influence inland. This period, marking the transition from the slave trade to legitimate commerce, was crucial in shaping the dynamics that would lead to formal colonization. It was a time of shifting power dynamics, as British economic interests increasingly intertwined with the internal affairs of the Nigerian kingdoms and communities they engaged with. The year 1861 marked a turning point in Anglo-Nigerian relations, the formal annexation of Lagos by the British Crown. Lagos, with its strategic location on the coast, was a bustling port city and a gateway to the interior. The British, eager to consolidate their control over trade routes and expand their influence, saw Lagos as a valuable prize. The annexation was justified on humanitarian grounds, the suppression of the slave trade, but it also served British economic and political ambitions. The annexation of Lagos had profound implications. It marked the beginning of a new era, one in which British involvement in Nigerian affairs would become increasingly direct and interventionist. It also set a precedent for further expansion into the interior, as Lagos became a strategic base from which to project British power and influence deeper into the Niger Delta and beyond. With Lagos secured, the British turned their attention inland. The mighty Niger River, a vital artery flowing through the heart of West Africa, became a focal point. British explorers and traders ventured into the interior, seeking to map the river's course, establish trading posts, and forge alliances with local rulers. They encountered a complex tapestry of kingdoms, empires, and ethnic groups, each with their own histories, traditions, and systems of governance. The exploration of the Niger was not without its challenges. Disease, difficult terrain, and resistance from some local communities posed constant obstacles. Yet, driven by economic ambitions and a sense of imperial purpose, the British persisted. They established a naval presence on the river, signed treaties with local rulers, and gradually consolidated their control over this vital waterway, paving the way for further expansion and the formalization of their rule. Two protectorates. Two systems. By the dawn of the 20th century, British influence in Nigeria had expanded significantly. To formalize their control, the British government established two separate protectorates: the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria and the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria. This division, largely based on administrative convenience and existing spheres of influence, would have lasting consequences, exacerbating existing cultural and political differences between the North and South. The two protectorates were governed differently. In the South, where British economic interests were more deeply entrenched, a system of direct rule was imposed. British officials held key administrative positions, and traditional rulers were often relegated to subordinate roles. In the North, however, a policy of indirect rule was adopted. This system, largely shaped by Frederick Lugard, utilized existing traditional structures and rulers to govern on behalf of the British. One nation under British rule. In 1914, a momentous event occurred: the amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Nigerian protectorates into a single entity, the Colony and Protectorate of Nigeria. This decision, driven by administrative expediency and a desire to streamline colonial governance, created a vast and diverse territory under British control. However, the amalgamation also brought together regions with distinct histories, cultures, and systems of governance, a situation that would have profound and lasting consequences. The unification of Nigeria under British rule had far-reaching implications. It fostered a sense of shared identity among the diverse ethnic groups within the newly created nation. It also laid the groundwork for a unified economy and infrastructure, though often designed to serve British interests, rather than the needs of the Nigerian people. However, the amalgamation also exacerbated existing tensions and divisions between North and South, differences that continue to shape Nigerian politics and society to this day. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to Emgotvhistory for more fascinating tales.